people like messing around, like nobody's near any of the stuff, and
it was all of a sudden, as soon as I hit broadcast, all of a sudden it stopped.
That phone, I got no phone. I said, I gotta put this down and get out of here.
Okay, Bill, you are live.
Very good, thank you.
You can sit here. I'll be back.
Well, welcome everyone to the January 5th Henrietta Conservation Board of 2021. I would like to remind you that the meeting is being recorded, and we do have one member, Noreen, who's on Zoom. Steve is out with, he had a surgery. We've got Twim, Robin, Bud, Noreen's here, Sarah is here, and a new member, Richard Alford. I'd like to welcome him. The meeting minutes were emailed to you for November 5th, 2020. I need a motion for those, please.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Robin and Bud. Were there any comments, revisions, changes needed? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, thank you. The minutes are approved. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-0. Board member reports. The first item, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Supervisor Stephen Schultz.
Right. So I'd like to read a resolution that we passed at the last town board meeting. I have resolution number 25-311, 2020 of the town board of the town of Henrietta, county of Monroe, state of New York. Whereas Fabian Grabsky was first nominated for the Henrietta Conservation Board by town supervisor Phil Letier in December of 1984 and unanimously appointed to the board on January 1st, 1995. And whereas Fabian was a civil engineer at Kodak for decades, and for many years was the only civil engineer on the Conservation Board. And whereas while at Kodak, Fabian played an instrumental part in the design and creation of one of Henrietta's architectural hallmarks, the Kodak Riverwood Marketing Facility. And whereas Fabian served as chairman of the Conservation Board from January 1992 to December 1997, and during his time, he created a guideline and checklist that the committee continues to use today. And whereas in addition to reviewing countless plans and developments and making recommendations to the planning board, Fabian was a major contributor participating in the Code Development Committee, helping draft changes to town code to better support conservation, as well as creating standards for developers to follow when developing sites. Therefore, be it resolved that the Henrietta Town Board, along with the members of the Conservation Boards, past and present, recognize Fabian Grabsky for his 35 years of service to the town as a member of the Conservation Boards, and thanks the Grabsky family for sharing Fabian's time with the town. It was unanimously passed. So I'd like to present this to Fabian. The resolution. There's also a Henrietta pin.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you. Been a long time.
Yeah.
Before this was the Recreation Commission,
Oh, wow.
so it's been a while. So,
Let's
We're
take a
gonna
picture.
Face this way for a picture.
Good. Trouble hearing.
I'm good. I'm gonna shut this off.
Okay.
this would be a-
All right. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm all set.
Okay.
It's been a long haul. And I enjoyed it. Met some good people. I'm gonna miss them. Only place I'll meet them now is the social gathering place in Henrietta, which is Woodman.
There you go. Well, I'm sure you're welcome anytime you want to stop in and visit this board,
Yeah.
or any of the boards for that matter.
Okay.
So thank you.
Awesome.
Take care.
Happy to have you.
Thanks, Fabian.
It's been great, baby. Thanks for all you've done.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Fabian. Yes. Yes, thank you.
Come see us.
Just at least you're not on camera, right?
That was nice.
Great, thank you. So that's item 1, under board member reports. Are there any other members with anything to report? Hearing none, I just like to reiterate my welcoming of Richard Alford, new to the board tonight. So welcome, Richard. If you haven't introduced yourself, please, talk afterwards, and we'll get so familiar with the matters, and we had a little talk ahead of time as to some items, questions that he had. So, but if you can help him along, that'd be great. Appreciate it.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. The first application for tonight is, something no one was tabled. It is application number 20013, MS International at Wiregrass Park, for review of final site plan for an 84,000 square foot building with warehouse and office spaces located on Wiregrass Parkway on 6.3 acres in an industrial zone district. And do we have sign-in tonight? We have maybe someone remote tonight?
Yep, we have a few of us from the project team here remotely.
Great, thank you. And
Really remote.
we have your contact information, I suspect, so that'd be great. So go ahead and start your presentation. If you could introduce your names.
Sure, I'm Mike Bogajewski from BME Associates. With me is Rich and John from Lefroy's Builders, who are the applicants. And with me also is Peter Vars from BME and Jerry Goldman, the applicant's counsel. So we have the whole project team here logged in remotely. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you for coming tonight. Welcome.
We're here tonight for both MSI and the MS International site and the Veritiv site. I'll go through the MS International site plans first here. How about that? It's the first building proposed within the Wiregrass Park. Just kind of stepping back a little bit. The overall Wiregrass Park was constructed back in 2018. It's an industrial zone park. The roadway has been built and the lots have already been subdivided for 11 lots that were originally proposed. The overall park received the planning board approvals back in August 2017. The town board did also approve a secret neg deck back in June of 2017 also. This first building for MS International, it's located on what's now called Lot R11, since the 2 lots for these two buildings have been re-subdivided. As you mentioned, the lot area is 6.38 acres. The proposed building is approximately 84,000 square foot building, mainly warehouse building with some small office space for the MS International business. They're a granite and flooring distribution company. Basically, they distribute to the flooring companies and Lowe's and Home Depot, that type of thing. The site plan itself basically includes the proposed building itself, and the parking areas and the truck parking and loading areas for the building itself. Access will just be a single access onto Wiregrass Parkway to serve the site. Utilities, water and sanitary will just connect to the existing sanitary and water mains that have been previously constructed along the roadway. Stormwater will be conveyed to the existing pond location, which will be expanded as part of these two proposals. There is a bio retention area proposed on the east side of the building to provide necessary water quality treatment volumes prior to conveying that runoff to the pond. The pond is in the existing location. It's constructed now, but will be expanded to serve both the MS International building and the Veritiv building. As I mentioned, a lot of the infrastructure has been previously constructed for the overall park itself. Now we're just looking to start developing these first two lots. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions for this first building, the MS International building.
Did you say that the bioretention on the east side will then flow into the off-parcel storm?
Yeah, the bioretention area is connected to the proposed storm sewer system. It gets connected to the storm sewer system along the roadway, which collects the roadway runoff. It will collect runoff from the MS International building along with Veritiv and then convey it to the pond.
Okay. And I noticed the storm pond is a dual pond, has a front well and a deep well on lots, I think it was 7 and 8.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. The existing pond was constructed to handle the runoff from the roadway, knowing that once the lots were developed, they would have to do both individual stormwater quantity and quality controls. In these two cases, we discussed with town engineer and looked at expanding the existing pond to handle the quantity from these two developments and then provide the required quality treatments with the bioretention areas and then specifically for MS International on the east side of the building.
Okay, great. I had a couple other questions on stormwater, but I think they apply more to the Veritiv application.
Okay.
So I'll hold off on that. There are, let's see, you said 6.8, it's 6.3, 6.4 acres. We usually require 8 trees per acre, roughly. And I think there were 25 trees being provided versus 51, or am I not reading that right?
25.
Is it 25? Yeah. So is there some way we can modify and get us up to the 8 trees per acre? Or it sounds like this is all disturbed area, right? The lot is totally disturbed.
All previously disturbed. And this lot specifically doesn't require any clearing. A lot of it's been cleared basically for the roadway that's previously been constructed. We are proposing the tree plantings along the front of the building with proposed berms to provide some screening along from the roadway. But we'll have to look at adding some additional trees to meet those minimums.
Right, okay, great.
I have a question regarding the amount of green space that you have on the parcel. We normally would ask it, our guideline is for at least 28% green space. It looks like you have a lot of concrete driveway and of course the building itself. Do you have a calculation for how much green space? By the way, I do appreciate the way the trees on both parcels, both projects, do a nice job of screening the view of the building from both the road and from adjacent, what will be adjacent properties. But doesn't look to me like you have a lot of green space. Do you have the calculation for that?
Yeah, the calculation's noted right on our site plan, in our site plan notes, and that we're at 35%.
Yeah.
For an overall green space located for this site specifically.
Does that 35% include, I noticed you had land banked some parking. Is that worst case, the 35%?
That would be worst case.
Worst case, great.
There's land bank parking on the other site which I'm very much in favor of, but I didn't see that we have land bank parking on the MS site. It appeared that you were using all the space for parking and for the trucks and the like.
Yeah, I think it's listed on the second, if you turn that second sheet, there's a sheet number 2. Yeah, back one more, I think. One more sheet back. It's in the notes.
Yep. It's in the note. It's listed. The proposed number of spaces are listed in the site notes, and then we also did include a land bank parking site plan, which is drawing 8.
Yeah, sheet 8 has the plan itself showing the land bank.
I like on the other one, next one we'll look at. I like how that is. Oh yes, sorry. Yep. Very good. And then that's included in the 35%.
I believe it is, but we'll have to confirm that.
Okay. Thank you.
I wanted to talk about trees for a second. I'm a bit concerned about the concolor firs being close to the road there because they're not salt tolerant. I suppose there's not a lot of traffic at the beginning of this project, but as the lots get filled in, you may have some salt spray. Just want to bring that up.
Okay.
Nice selection of plants though, other than that.
That's something we could definitely take a look at.
Okay.
Thank you, Noreen.
I have another question regarding the mini ravine that exists presently, what appears to be on the property line between the two parcels. And maybe it'll best be dealt with on the second one, but it kind of is in between the two. What are the plans for that? If you're using the stormwater management pond south of the two projects, is there anything that any water retention area in that ditch or ravine or little valley between the first?
Yeah, I can explain that. It shows up a little better on the Veritiv site plan since the Veritiv law itself kind of covers that area. But what's happening is when the road was constructed, instead of running a pipe all the way from the road storm sewer system to the pond, it was just swaled. And so a swale was dug from the end section at the closer to the road all the way to the pond. Now with the two buildings being proposed, that swale will go away. It'll be created for these two buildings, and then a storm sewer pipe will be extended around the two buildings into the pond.
Okay. That's fine.
Will there be irrigation for the plantings?
I don't believe so.
You probably have a watering plan. We usually ask about that at the beginning, and I know you probably have a guarantee or a warranty about replacing, but
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do have that included in our landscaping notes.
okay, great.
On both drawings, I see that you have an area for temporary storage of the topsoil. Is the cut and fill for the two projects, are they fairly balanced? Or will you be having a lot left over, or are you bringing some in?
That's something we looked at pretty closely. The overall, it balances pretty closely between the MS International and the Veritas site. There is some cut on the MS International just because if you take a look at the grading, there's a high point there. But some of that excess material from MS International site goes over to the Veritas site.
Okay. Fill in that ditch.
Great. Bud, you all set?
Well, I have one more quick question on the building itself. On the side with the doors, there are two doors, I believe, that allow you to back a truck into the building. Is that trucks into the tractors into the building? The rest of them are basically at dock level.
I believe a couple of the loading docks do allow trucks to back into the building, but I would have to ask Rich or John to confirm that.
It looks like there is a depressed dock inside the building. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Yep.
Rich, you were muted if you were talking.
How's that? That better?
Yes.
Yes, there'll be two internal docks that they use to unload the granite.
Okay. Thanks, Bud. Robin, anything?
I do have one question. I noticed you're requesting one variance. Is that it on the project? I didn't miss any other variances that you were requesting?
That's correct. We're both MS International and Veritiv are requesting variances for the loading docks in the front of the building. And we're on the agenda for tomorrow night, actually, for the zoning board. So, and those are the only variances that are being requested.
Thank you.
Sarah, anything?
I do have some questions. The slope on the east side of the building, as you're coming down from essentially that pipeline easement, and then you're coming into the bioretention area. It drops from like 558 down to 548. Are you anticipating mowing that? What type of slope is that?
It's close to a 3-on-1 slope, if my memory serves me correctly. And then I believe we have it proposed to be seeded with a steep slope seed mix as shown on the construction erosion control plan.
Oh, so it's on the erosion control plan. Okay. I didn't see it on the landscaping, and that's where I was going is
Gotcha. Yep.
it's truly a 3-on-1 consider using a steep slope mix in that
Yep.
area. My only comments, I think it's a good plant mix. I think you guys did a great job on both projects. It's nice to see that variety and diversity. I would consider adding trees near that bioretention area if you can, even on the slope. And if we do add on, if you guys decide to add on the slope, consider just adding a planting detail for the contractor to install a tree on a slope. And then the only other thing I saw was just the hackberry in the front. I love the attempt for the street trees and the screening. There is a existing or proposed light pole. Hackberry gets pretty large, and just consider either shifting the light pole or shifting the hackberry to avoid the conflict.
Okay, that's something.
Other than that, I think it's a great planting plan.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah. Noreen, circling back to you, did you have any others?
No, I agree. It's a really nice planting plan.
Great. Rich, anything?
Yes, I have one comment and one question, actually. I understand that the company does granite and tile, is a granite and tile distributor. In regards to the use of the building, will they be doing granite or tile, any manufacturing in the facility that would require excess amounts of water that could negatively impact the sanitary or storm system?
I believe most of the building is just used for warehouse space. I think Rich or John will have to confirm if they're planning on doing any type of manufacturing, but there are no, we're not anticipating any large water usage demands for these two buildings. It's mainly just the office space and the bathrooms for water usage, and then the warehouse space in the back of the building.
Yeah, there's really no manufacturing here.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Great. Anyone else? Rich, Bud, Robin, Sarah, Noreen, all set? If,
All set. Thank you.
okay, great. So let me read
Actually,
what I have.
am I able to make a comment?
Sure, sure.
This is Supervisor Schultz. I'd just like to add that if you find that you can't fit all the trees on the site in a way that doesn't lead to overcrowding, you also have the option to instead put those trees into a tree bank. And we use the trees in the tree bank to replenish some of the trees lost in the town parks that were lost due to emerald ash borers and other diseases. So that's an option you have. Like I said, if you can't fit them all on the site.
Okay, I appreciate that. We'll take
That's
that.
fine, Steve. We'll work with you on that.
Yeah, so we'd probably have a comment in here stating to work with the town with that. So great. All good comments. Let me reread what I've heard. The applicant stated the following. The 2018 subdivision has been or is being subdivided. This lot, actually a couple lots are they're a stone distributor. The existing utilities are being reused. Bioretention on the east side flows to the roadway, then to the storm pond. There are 35% green space proposed, and that is the worst case. It includes all the parking, including the land bank parking. The temporary swale will be eliminated. A watering plan and warranty is included. Some soil from this lot will be used at the adjacent lot. Between the two lots will be roughly even cut and fill, and the bioretention area will be 1-on-3 mowable. And I had for comments, the HCB recommends to the planning board provide 8 trees per acre or 51 trees. Contact the town regarding a tree bank scenario if desired. Conifer firs are not salt tolerant. Hackberry versus light pole conflict. Oh, there's a conflict with a tree and a light pole at the front of the building. Was that Hackberry, Sarah? Right. And that's all I had down. Are there any other items that I missed?
Can you go back to that mobile slope comment?
Yes, they had. There was a mobile 1-on-3 area near the fire retention.
So I would
East
just,
side
I
fire
would more or
retention.
less say it's seeded with a steep slope mix.
Okay.
So in essence, they really only have to mow it maybe once or twice a year.
Okay.
Thanks, I was gonna mention that.
1-on-3 area is seeded with steep slope mix. For easier maintenance. All right.
Real quick, the tree I was talking about is concolor fir. I think you said conifer, but it's concolor fir.
Con color, can you spell that?
CONCOLOR.
COLR. Okay. Con color for any other mods? I'm seeing all no's, so I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Sarah motioning to approve, I
Yep.
take it, with the
Approve.
comments.
I'll second.
Robin, the second. Any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Hearing none, motion is approved with those comments. Thank you. Next application is item, oh, sorry about that, folks. 20-014 Veritiv at Wiregrass Park for review of final site plan of a 225,000 square foot building and warehouse with office spaces located on Wiregrass Parkway on 17 acres in an industrial zone district. And we have, I suspect, the same guests to present that one. So take it away, folks.
That's true. We have the same project team for this one also. Mike Bojeski from BME. We got Rich and John Lafroy. Also logged in as Peter Vires of BME and Jerry Goldman, the applicant's counsel.
Welcome.
Similar to MS International, Veritiv would be the second building proposed within Wiregrass Park. This new lot basically encompasses a few of the lots that's now been re-subdivided, and it's called Lot R10. It's a 17.14 acre area for the proposed 225,000 square foot warehouse building for Veritiv Corporation. They are a logistics company that they basically manage distribution of companies' products. Along with the building itself, the site improvements include the parking area on the south side of the building for employees and visitors, and then the truck and loading area on the east side of the building. Access is from a single entrance onto Wiregrass Parkway. The Wiregrass Parkway roadway, like previously mentioned, has already been constructed with the overall infrastructure installation for the park as a whole. Similar to MS International, the water and sanitary sewer services will connect to those water mains and sanitary mains that have been previously installed along the roadway. Stormwater will be conveyed to two bioretention areas, and then similarly to MSI, will be captured from the bioretention areas after being treated and conveyed with storm sewers to the proposed pond. It'll be conveyed to it's basically the same pond for both buildings located in the southwest corner there. And it's the expansion of the existing pond that was constructed previously. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any additional questions for the Veritiv site.
I did have just a part B to my previous question on the previous application. So you have stormwater flowing to the storm pond, and I assume both applications are following the off rate, the reduction of off parcel flow. I think the town requires reduction down to 80% or something like that of the current flow.
Yep, that's correct. The town does have a 20% reduction,
right?
As part of the regulations. So
right. So adjacent to the storm pond is a wetland. So if we're changing the flow, I'm just concerned that we're going to change the wetland. So I know it's impossible not to change it entirely, but I just don't want to drain it dry, and I don't want to overfill it. So has that been looked at?
It has been looked at with basically the overall drainage design, both for the overall park itself and now with these two proposed buildings. Basically, the existing pond was constructed to handle the runoff from the roadway, and it was always anticipated that runoff from the developed lots would be discharged to this location also. There is a portion of the northern end of the Veritiv lot that will maintain existing drainage patterns and basically will drain to the wetlands in that north, I'm going to call it the northwest corner instead of the wetland area in the southwest corner where the pond is draining to. So
right.
We are maintaining a portion of the existing runoff in that northern site, and then making sure we're meeting the existing runoff rates with the pond discharge also in that pond area.
And there is a regulated creek on that parcel as well, right? So
Yeah,
that help. I think that part of that buffer is the wetland, right?
Correct. I believe it runs through the wetland area.
So that should help. So the runoff, and I'm gonna write some notes here while you. Let's start with Sarah this time. Sarah, anything on your behalf?
I do not have any comments.
All set. Noreen.
I'm concerned about, again, the salt tolerance of the evergreens by the road. The white spruce and the concolor firs, again, are not salt tolerant. I think you're going to have some problems. You might want to rethink those.
That's definitely something we can take a look at.
Do we have enough trees for the site, Bill?
No, I was going to wait see if somebody wanted to pick that up. So Robin, go ahead.
I think just, it looks like we're short again on trees,
Yeah,
but, so maybe add the recommendation that Steve made. If, I mean, because it looks good to me, the landscaping plan. So if more can't be added, you know, possible land bank or tree bank, I apologize,
Right.
tree bank.
so I'll have a note that 50 trees were proposed and let's see, roughly 137 are required.
Yeah.
So trees. Consider tree bank. If you
I have
could,
a general question. Did you guys receive our Henrietta landscape guidelines in order to prepare your plan?
I believe we referenced them when we
Okay,
did prepare. Yeah.
that's great. You know, it shows with the diversity of plants that you have and that you don't have too many of one thing and very few maples. And I just wanted to find out if that was the reason why or if you were just doing it that way. But
Make sure we're looking at all the town references when we're doing the plans.
excellent, great, thank you.
Noreen, any others?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Robin,
Just curiosity, there is some residential property that sort of bucks up here. Have you heard any negative feedback from anyone in reference to this plan?
I don't believe we've heard any negative feedback from any neighbors for these two proposals yet. We will be presenting to the planning board in a couple of weeks. I do know that. So.
No, that's a good thing. I just like to ask in case there was any disagreements. Thank you.
Richard.
Nothing.
Okay, Bud.
Okay, thank you. While we're talking of trees, there's quite a nice stand of trees on the property there. And although the parcel here is, the large building is mostly on lot 9 and 10, notice that the stormwater management facility goes partly on 9 and then on to 8 and down onto 7. And so some of the trees are in that area or actually partly on adjoining property. The drawings indicate that you are planning on saving the trees to remain. I wonder of that large stand of trees, once the grading is in and the banked land is taken into account, will any of those trees be left to shield, screen the view of the building from the south, basically? There's, we've got a building that's a football field wide and 3 football fields long, so I'm particularly interested in saving whatever screening from trees as possible. Are those, any of those, or a large number of those trees left to shield the west side of the building?
We are, I think there's a couple different areas there. So we are proposing and to berm and plant as much as we can along the front of the roadway frontage, so that way we can provide as much screening as we can, especially for that loading dock area. I do know to the south of the building there are some existing trees, but that does fall on the neighboring parcel. For this development, those trees would stay. But then there is future development planned for the remaining lots along Wiregrass Parkway. The there is some additional clearing around the pond where we do, note for some of those trees to remain though, basically on the west side of these lots.
The fact that the pond is also on lots 8 and 7, would its capacity be enough to handle the drainage for lot 7 and 8 also? Is that taken into account?
It is sized for a large portion of the runoff from the park, and a large portion from these lots. There is a bit of a drainage divide as you move south towards the southern end, but the majority of the site itself of Wiregrass Park was taken into account and anticipated with a percentage of impervious area to account for future development of these lots within the pond itself. But as the lots get developed, that'll have to get assessed.
Sure.
Whether they're falling into this drainage area and going into this pond, or if additional quantity controls will have to get done for future development of the lots.
Okay, I figured you'd probably need additional ponds for 5 and 6 certainly, but I wasn't sure if you could able to, whether you planned on it being large enough to accommodate some of the additional parcels there.
The flow out of the pond, just to follow up to Bud's question, will drain to the wetland, I suspect.
That's correct. Yep.
Just to comment again that I appreciate the land bank portion, the large number of parking spaces that you don't need, that you're doing land banking of, and that increasing the percentage of green space on the property. And of course, that'll be maintained and mowed, I'm assuming.
Yep, that's correct. And with the land bank parking, it allows for the reduced number of parking spaces, which is what's actually needed. Since the building's mostly warehouse, it just doesn't require that much parking.
I understand.
Yep.
Big building.
Yeah, it is big. Anything else, Bud?
No, that's it. I think
I covered everybody. The green space on this one, if I recall, was what, 58% or something?
52.8.
50, okay, so roughly 53% green space. I'll add that as a comment that you presented, if you don't mind.
Very good.
53% green space. And that green space, of course, the 53% includes worst case, the land banked parking going away and turning to asphalt.
I believe that's something we'll confirm.
Okay. All right. Mark down his comment. Confirm. Then we'll have a comment. Green space is at least 25% with elimination of land bank. Or how do we want to say that? With worst case.
Of the land bank.
Yeah.
Full build out.
Worst case. Any other comments from anybody? If not, I will read what I have. So the applicant stated the following: said newly subdivided parcels from the 2018 plan, with similar notes to the previous application 20-013. Stormwater will be collected by retention and onto the storm pond. The runoff and wetland effects with stormwater have been calculated. Trees will be used to screen the dock areas. The storm pond has been sized for most of Wiregrass Park. Parking will be land banked and there are 53% green space. The Henrietta Conservation Board recommends to the Planning Board, white spruce and concolor firs be reviewed for salt tolerance. Sorry, I might have a broken thumb, so I'm trying to write as best as I can. I'm sure they're going to complain about my writing again. There are 137 required. Oh, sorry, there are 137 trees required. Consider adding more trees to the application and also using the proposed tree bank system. Please contact the town to do so. Confirm that the wetland and adjacent stream will not be adversely affected. And lastly, confirm the green space is at least 25%, worst case without using the land bank. Any other comments? If there, go ahead. You make a motion. Did I hear? Or did you have a comment?
Maybe just the section where you stated the number of trees.
Yes.
Maybe just add a comment that, you know, we're appreciative. It's a good looking landscaping plan. We appreciate the effort.
Yes. I can make that as a separate comment if you like. The landscaping plan is excellent. How's that? That's okay. Okay. And you're right. I did hear that several times. So,
Good, nice job.
any other comments? All right. Well, I do need a motion for.
Okay, I move that we approve application 20-014.
Great. Thank you, Bud. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rich. If there's no other comments, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion is approved, 6-0. Thank you, guests, for coming in tonight. And I appreciate the great presentations.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Good night. Thanks for everything.
Good job. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. If there's no other old business or new business, our next meeting is February 2nd, 2021. And
I do have one question.
oh, okay, great. Shoot, Sarah.
So on the town's website, under engineering and planning,
Yep.
where do they go to download those Henrietta design guidelines for the landscaping? Because there's a link on here where it says design standards. And it shows the record drawing requirements and the rural development design guidelines. But I would think that that would be like where logically one would go to grab these.
Yeah, nice spot.
Right, but it goes with like site plan checklist, and so when an applicant, I mean, I know when we go after jobs, we'll go to a town's website and look for
Right.
that information. But where can they go to pull that?
They may receive it from engineering. They usually receive
Just
it.
curious, so can we confirm that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or I can email and ask the question and then report back.
Right.
next month.
Right. Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. Do you have Chris's contact info?
Maybe?
I can also answer that question if you guys want the information now.
Absolutely. Please do.
Sure. So our town code website actually holds majority of the information that you're looking for. So when you are on our town website, there are links that take you to our town code sections. In one of the sections, there's a miscellaneous documents area that lists out all of our board applications, requirements, checklists, etc. In one of those web links is also for the landscape guidelines and standards. It's also given to majority of our common engineering and developer groups. Whenever we make changes, we email out to a kind of like a distribution list to make sure that all of our standard people have that information. And I know that we did do that. And then a lot of these people do know where these places are listed on our website and can have them emailed to them at any point as well.
There you go.
Right.
That landscaping guideline was just redone by Barton Hughes 2018.
Whoever's talking, we can't hear you.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Rob
Mr.
Barley.
Barley.
Yeah, I was just commenting on the landscape guideline. It was just redone by Barton Judas, I think 2018. And I know that Mr. Reardon worked on that committee. So it was nice to hear her ask the questions about where they got the information for landscaping. But that's one comment I want to make.
Thank you. Any other items? Bud, you had something? Forgot, right?
I had a comment, a question asked to me earlier last week about Educators Grove, which apparently is a project with the school district that was looking into the matter of trees, and I think fits nicely in with our the tree inventory, the whole project as far as overall comprehensive plan on trees in Henrietta and parks and that sort of thing. I checked with our supervisor, and he said, yeah, that was kind of a peripheral thing, but it's ongoing. Now, we're still looking for a culmination on the tree project, right? Or is that finished as far as, we had the inventory of trees, but we also had some other, it turned into a much bigger scope. Whether I think it was Noreen or whatever was going to.
I think Noreen, right. Maybe
so just a comment that there's interest in that. That was coming from one of the school board members.
Oh, so you said a school board member was interested?
Apparently they're looking at something with that, and,
okay.
and the town is aware that this Educators Grove. They want to kind of plug in to what we're doing, and it sounds like it's all kind of coming together, the peripheral kind of things, but the town board is aware of, at least the supervisor is aware of
great.
the interest in it. And since we kind of started that or helped move it along,
awesome.
Everyone knows there was some interest in that.
Great. Noreen, anything to add to that? Have you heard anything on that? Very good.
No, I don't know anything about that. Do you know where that's going to be, Bud?
No, it was at, one of the folks from the school district was asking me about that, actually my daughter. And she was trying to get some information with it. And it sounds like it's in the very beginning stages, but it's something I think that they can probably tie in together. The supervisor was aware of it. I'm not sure where it stands at this point, just to make the board aware, because it's something we're also working with.
Yeah, that's excellent. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Great. And I know, Noreen, you had some spare trees laying around, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I get 100 seedlings every spring, so
Hey.
they're only this big, but
But they go quickly though. So.
they do.
Great. Any other items? If we have nothing else, I'd like to say nice job tonight, everyone. It was great having Fabian on for 35 years was fantastic. It was a great ceremony. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the kind words. And I need a motion for adjournment. Robin. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sarah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, and have a good rest of the week.
Thanks, everyone.
See you, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Bye, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.